A few of you have asked me this question over the last couple of weeks, and I've kind of just brushed it off. It's when will Aireonte Ersery get around to signing his contract? All the other draft picks are signed. This is where you have to realize and recognize you're not alone in this. Only two of the second round picks from the Houston Texans have signed their contracts so far. Jaden Higgins is one of them. And this is the issue. The Texans have gentrified the neighborhood. The Texans were the first to fully guarantee second rounders deal in NFL history. And the Browns quickly filed suit, but you'll remember the Browns picked one above Jaden Higgins in the second round. So in the second round, it was Schlesinger, the linebacker for Cleveland, and now Jaden Higgins. They have two fully guaranteed contracts. And if you look all the way down there at the 16th pick in the second round, it's Aireonte Ersery. So it's really just a matter of a bunch of dominoes waiting to fall. I know a lot of people have mentioned Tyler Shuck or blame Tyler Shuck because sometimes quarterbacks in the second round have had other stipulations added to their contracts. This is not a Tyler Shuck and Tyler Shuck alone deal. He has whatever things he's looking for as a quarterback in the second round, but all of these guys are just really kind of waiting to see where number 3, number 4, number 5, Emin Wari could have a good case for saying, hey, I should be a first rounder. I'm 100% cool with the fact that the Texans might have an issue right now that the Texans themselves created, because I don't think the Texans, if it comes to it, if the picks above Aireonte Ersery end up getting fully guaranteed contracts, I think the Texans will just go ahead and pay Aireonte Ersery the fully guaranteed contract. Nick has been very, very liberal with the guaranteed money, and I think part of that's a reflection of just recognizing that that's what means a lot to the players. And for the team, you end up getting players that are less likely to be agitated with their contracts moving forward. When it comes to guys who are free agents like Danielle Hunter or anybody else, you get a shorter contract and you've got your expenses controlled. The guy's not going to get agitated after a really good year or what have you. You just avoid a lot of drama. So I'm cool with it. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think Aireonte Ersery will likely sign as soon as a few of these other second rounders do. If this remains some kind of a second round lockout, then the Texans really won't be dealing with any other issues that every other team with a second round pick had, except that they'll have one of their second round picks signed. So I enjoy that the Texans have created mayhem. Second burning question right now is, will the Texans sign Rasul Douglas, free agent cornerback, where Texans have their issues that Darby retired in the defensive backfield. These are the issues. Darby, the veteran cornerback that you signed for some kind of insurance and hope can fill in and you can trust that he's not going to screw up. He retired. Jimmy Ward is currently petitioning to have his ankle monitor removed. That's where we stand in the safety position. We saw that Jair Alexander really wanted to go to Baltimore on a 1-year prove-it deal. I don't know if the Texans were in on that or not. The scuttlebutt about Jalen Ramsey getting traded to the Rams seems to have died down a little bit. For a long time, Schefter was he kept mentioning the Rams a lot as being a potential suitor there. I don't think the Texans will be in on Jalen Ramsey because Jalen Ramsey is going to want starter money. You've already got 2 starters. And I'm not going to pay Jalen Ramsey to be a nickelback or to play outside Lassiter moves inside just yet. I don't think it's the right way to go about building your team for an aging cornerback when you've already got a fair amount of aging guys on your team. So Rasul Douglas has come up a lot. And Rasul's an interesting one because from 2001 to 2023, and these highlights are from 2023, he was really a very, very good cornerback. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. He'll make plays on the ball for you, which is what we love here in Houston. But the problem is he just dropped off a cliff in 2024. So whatever the reason for that was and whatever teams are thinking about him, I think the Texans probably have his name on a whiteboard somewhere with magnets. No. Nick said they don't use that anymore. It's all digital. So whatever it might be, I think he's out there and they're probably looking at, hey, how does Jalen Smith look during camp? And is the price right for Rasul Douglas? So there's a chance that they end up signing Rasul Douglas. Third burning question that I have right now, and it's not a new one. It's just one that we won't really know the answer to until September really is Nick Caley going to be better than Bobby Slowik? I know a lot of you saw this graph, but it's an alarming graph. This is a guy took a bunch of the PFF grades and a bunch of the play calling from the last 15 years. And he calculated how much the play caller helped or hurt his team, both in the run and the pass game. This is for the 2024 season. I highlighted it in case your eyes took forever to get down to the lower left quadrant there, where Bobby Slowik was just didn't even get out of the gate. He's just sitting there. He's still eating his oats while everybody else is ascended above him. I know that meets the eyeball test for a lot of people. This score that Bobby Slowik had was the worst since 2010. He started doing this in 2010, or at least he took the data from 2010 and he calculated all of this. Is it valid? This is play calling on rush downs or play calling on pass downs. Don't worry. He wasn't dead last on the run calling stuff. Andy Reid was below him there. I'll say this first, is that keep in mind that Andy Reid is in that lower left-hand quadrant too. So this is not the be-all, end-all stat that tells you everything you need to know. But we know that just in terms of play calling itself, not to mention execution, which I do not excuse the offensive coordinator when guys aren't executing properly, because that's the offensive coordinator's job to get them to execute properly. But this game, because it popped up on YouTube the other day and I had to watch it, the Bills game where, remember, the Texans won this game, but this is not the winning drive right here. This is the second to last drive when there's 44 seconds left on the clock. It's 3rd and 5. The Texans have 3 timeouts in their pocket, but in this series of down, they chose to pass after they're already in field goal range, and they had already passed once before and it went out of bounds here. They choose on 3rd and 5 to throw the ball out of bounds, and you're like, oh, great. Clock is stopping. This is not ideal. It's still a long field goal. But no, they get called for intentional grounding. Why? You get the trifecta in this one, because you get the sketchy clock management, the poor play call, and then the miscommunication between Dalton Schultz and C.J. Stroud, where C.J. thinks that Dalton's going to continue to the outside, but he turns it into a whip route and comes back inside, and then you get the inevitable delay of game. That was miserable. I know a lot of you are miserable about that. That was early enough in the season that I was still making some excuses when it comes to the play calling side of things. But like the strategy of passing and running in that situation, when you've got 3 timeouts in your back pocket, that was they took a huhuge step backwards in game management last year. And ultimately that's on D'Amico Ryans. But man, Bobby, man, it's just let's see. The graph is off. How real is it though? I don't know. Or did the graph not show up? The guy who made the score said try. It said Reid was much worse than usual. Okay, the guy who made the score said Reid was much worse than usual in 2024. Right. It's just, and there were a lot of things last year that obviously, I'm not going to take all of that into account, but the basic point of the matter is that Caley has to be, if he's just average as a play caller, and I think he's going to be better in terms of getting the actual execution and guys not on the same page. CJ and Dalton not being on the same page right there. Doesn't that kind of feel like, wow, a process that was kind of rushed and where people weren't always checked in on exactly what we're trying to do? The Green Bay game at the end of the game, some really questionable decisions about their lack of instructions to CJ at the 2-minute drill, about at the 2-minute timeout of just exactly how to operate. So just annoying stuff. I'm going to try to attack and simplify this whole collusion controversy that Florio and Pablo Torres are insisting that we really care about. I dug in. I'm going to do that video sometime later today.